Wow. Anybody in? Hello? We found a little shrine.
I thought it was the wind first, but...
I went outside and looked, and there's a bullet hole in freaking... Let's go back. Oh.
Some wilderness encounters don't start with danger. They start with the feeling that something is wrong. From a solo hiker realizing a man has been following her deep into the woods, to campers hearing a loud growl just beyond the firelight with nothing visible in the dark. Sometimes the scariest thing out there isn't what you see, it's what you can't. So, if this happened to you, would you stay or leave immediately? In central Greece, within the area of Paranormal, there is a remote and untouched woodland known as the Fracto Virgin Forest. In early June 2025, on a Monday afternoon, two climbers started a difficult journey. Their goal was to travel through the thick forest while searching for the remains of a military aircraft that had crashed there 77 years earlier. At one point, Christos Stavrianidis, 61 years old, was walking slightly ahead of his friend near the edge of a cliff. He moved forward to look at the valley below and capture some footage with his body camera. His companion followed behind along a nearby parallel trail. Everything appeared normal until Christos spotted strange movement in the bushes that drew his attention. The second climber tried to move closer but could not see anything. Then suddenly, only a few meters away, a large, dark figure emerged from the vegetation, a huge brown bear. Pulled in by the unexpected encounter, Christos tried to interact with the animal, unaware that this dangerous moment would eventually end in tragedy.
Πού είσαι, έλα. Έλα κοντά μου. Πού είσαι, εδώ κοντά μου, έλα. Κοντά μου, έλα, λέω. Κοντά μου. Ρίξε, Δημήτρη. Ρίξε σπρέι.
The footage shows a bear described as a large adult male moving fast toward the second climber who was with his dog. Defensive barking can be heard as the man gains only a few seconds to use the pepper spray he had with him. Meanwhile, Christos, on the opposite side, was affected by the spray's smell and began reacting just before the bear fatally attacked him. Immediately after being exposed to the pepper spray, the bear turned and headed toward Christos, who was standing near the cliff's edge. The attack caused a fall of more than 800 meters. The friend, panicking instinctively, climbed into a tree to protect himself. Holding his mobile phone, he called emergency services, knowing the location was extremely hard to reach. Hours later, a major rescue operation began. Firefighters, rescue crews, and even a helicopter were sent in an attempt to reach the area. The forest was so thick that rescuers had to continue on foot, forcing their way through trees and rocky ground. When they finally found the body, Christos was not moving. The fall had been fatal and he did not survive. Images from his final moments quickly spread and made headlines in several countries. Despite their experience, experts said the climbers had not reacted in the safest way, and that the bear's behavior was likely defensive, typical when an animal feels threatened or trapped. Today, Greece has between 400 and 500 brown bears, mostly living in mountain regions, and human encounters have become more frequent. Environmental officials stress that in places where these animals live, it is essential to follow safety measures, avoid approaching them, keep a safe distance, avoid provoking contact, and carry emergency gear. Sometimes one reaction can change everything in seconds. Maybe the moment was already too close or too sudden, so what would you have done in that situation? The following disturbing footage comes from Nomadic Millennials, a van life channel focused on documenting full-time travel throughout the United States. It is March 25th, 2019 in San Diego, United States.
So we were in our van like around 9 p.m. and we were just hanging out. Rachel was teaching some of her classes. We heard some loud noises, which we thought were fireworks because we've heard loud noises around this area before. There's a park area that we're next to.
John and Ray are parked beside a public park during the night. Activity nearby is not considered unusual for the location, and when several loud bangs are heard, they initially believe it is fireworks. The noises are close but not instantly identified as danger. From inside the van, there is no direct view available to confirm what is taking place.
I went outside and looked, and there's a bullet hole on the side of our van. And pretty much what happened is someone shot at our van while we were inside. I don't know if it was on purpose or an accident, or we were just in the crossfire.
The bullet's path is later examined. It entered through the side panel and traveled across the interior, stopping only after hitting a reinforced section. The trajectory reveals how little space existed between the shot and where they were sitting. Inside a vehicle, there is limited protection. Most surfaces are not designed to stop impact.
We never felt not safe here up until yesterday, which is the weird part. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that make us believe both ways that it was an accident, and there's a lot of different factors that make us believe that it wasn't. For example, there was multiple shots being fired, noises that we've heard. So to us, it doesn't seem like it would just be like an accidental.
They think about how close the situation came. Positioning becomes the most important factor. Minor differences in angle or entry point could have altered the result. This moment is defined by distance. There is no warning, no build-up, only a sudden transition from normal to dangerous. The van offers mobility but almost no protection, and moments like this reveal a reality of van life. In public areas, you are exposed to everything happening nearby, even when you are completely uninvolved. Sometimes things happen without any clear reason and no time to react, so do you think this was simply chance or something more intentional? Krikos is a woman who loves motorcycles, the outdoors, and the thrill of exploring nature, camping, and chasing freedom on two wheels. Her goal is to inspire people to step outside their comfort zones, take on new challenges, and pursue their dreams. Her videos are genuinely entertaining to watch, especially for anyone who enjoys forest environments. But in this particular upload, something felt unusual. She was attempting to camp deep inside the woods, and from the very beginning she had a strong, uneasy feeling about the location. The video was uploaded on the Krikos Adventure channel on April 5th, 2026.
I'm looking for a place to stay. I'm just here deep into the forest, and I'm gonna stay somewhere and sleep next to my motorcycle. And as you see, we don't have that much snow left. It's almost gone. The roads are clear.
After spending some time searching through the area, she eventually discovered what looked like the ideal campsite and started setting everything up.
I'm pretty happy. I think we're gonna stay here. First of all, we're gonna go and collect some spruce branches because we're gonna lay on those ones because they're really wet on the ground. My survival instinct is kicking in so quickly when you're out here. Like every sound, I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
She had finally found her location, but now she needed to gather materials to make the ground more comfortable for sleeping, so that became her next task.
This is the bag where I will sleep tonight. It's a bivy cover for sleeping bag. And sleeping bag. This sleeping bag. The winter sleeping bag is okay. It's not as comfortable as this one with the feather. I'm gonna let it get some air, and then I'm gonna make the fire, and then I can just jump in and feel it a little bit. What do you think?
The fire was finally burning, and it was time to prepare food because after all the work, the body needs energy. But while she was eating, something changed. She began feeling uncomfortable, not in an obvious or direct way, but the kind of feeling that is difficult to explain, like something was wrong, like she was no longer alone, like something beyond the darkness was watching her. There were far too many noises surrounding the campsite.
It's really weird sounds. I thought it was the wind first, but there is barely no wind here. Okay, here's the thing. I can feel it in my guts. There's something with this place that doesn't feel right, and there's something is off here, so I'm gonna pack all my stuff and I'm gonna go back.
And it could have been an animal moving nearby, something else entirely, or maybe nothing at all. But that is something neither she nor the viewers can know with certainty. In situations like this, leaving early is often the safest decision. Experienced campers understand that a sudden uneasy feeling is rarely random. It is usually the body reacting to something that does not feel safe. Staying alert to your surroundings and reacting quickly can stop a situation from becoming worse. Instead of waiting for obvious danger, it is often safer to leave while there is still time. When something feels wrong, even without a clear explanation, would you stay and risk it or leave before it becomes something worse? The next unsettling footage comes from Outdoor Outlaws, a UK-based outdoor channel, focused on wilderness camping and survival challenges. It is April 6, 2026 in the Peak District, England. The group establishes camp near a reservoir with conditions already working against them. Rain begins early, and their shelters are quickly improvised. Water is filtered directly from the reservoir, emphasizing how exposed and self-reliant their setup really is. The environment is wide open, yet far from forgiving.
Been through some creepy woods.
Been hearing noises as well.
We're in the middle of nowhere as well. Nearest road's miles away. What the f***, man?
Little hobbit door there.
Wow. Anybody in? Hello? God, yeah. Any hobbits in there?
Oh, that's crazy.
Ah, what the hell? We found a little shrine.
So our people write their little messages to
An old burial ground is eventually discovered. Weathered gravestones and faded details suggest it has been abandoned for a very long time. The location itself does not present any direct threat, but it changes the overall atmosphere. The setting shifts from something purely natural to something connected to history.
It's a bowl, mate.
What the hell is going on? Yeah, the old cross on the roof. It's a fucking lovely engineered roof, that. Someone's took the time to build this.
Yeah. I'm another 25-minute walk that was. Across the bridge. Get to the burial ground. Ooh. Some more ruins there. Looks massive. Look at this, man. Little tree, portway. Spooky. Shh. Just got to this burial ground. And our camp's just around the corner from this. Look at that metal one there.
All that. Probably the people that lived at the hall.
Yeah.
Servants and butlers and things like that.
Please respect this burial ground.
They probably owned the hall, didn't they, where we're sleeping?
Samuel Grimshaw.
They continue moving through nearby ruins before eventually making their way back to camp. As darkness increases, navigation becomes slower and more deliberate. The choice to return is controlled, not rushed, but it reflects an awareness of the conditions surrounding them. This moment is shaped entirely by the environment. Nothing specific occurs, but the setting steadily builds tension through rain, rough terrain, and isolation with history layered over everything. Each factor on its own is manageable, but together they change how the place feels. In locations like this, it is not about what you see, but where you are and how long you stay there. Sometimes, nothing obvious needs to happen for a place to feel wrong, especially when the surroundings and history begin overlapping in subtle ways. So, the question becomes simple: was this only a quiet night in a remote area, or was the location itself creating that tension? This footage comes from Exploring with Angelo, uploaded on August 8, 2025. This time, Angelo decides to do something he normally avoids. He moves beyond the safer edge of the hill, traveling deeper into the unknown sections of Happy Valley.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new adventure in an old place. This is probably going to be the last time we're back at Happy Valley. If you guys know this place, you know how freaking scary it gets here at night. I've actually managed to make it with some daylight. So basically, what we're going to do for now, at least, I'm very curious because we almost never get the daylight, first of all, when we're here. I've never really been past that point where we always end up turning. So we're going to go further down. Maybe I'll find another spot that's workable to camp out at tonight.
Returning to a place already known for how intense it becomes at night, he arrives, while there is still daylight, planning to push farther than usual into an area he has never fully explored, hoping to locate a better place to camp. He is searching for answers about a hostile presence rumored to exist in these woods, but the environment already feels ready for him. As he reaches the point where he normally turns around, he chooses to continue farther into unfamiliar territory.
Well, we made it as far as here. This is where we usually turn into. I think it makes more sense to just keep going in there and investigate, see what the heck is there. Well, not really investigate, but explore it. That was like a whistle or something. What the hell? But it literally sounded almost like a referee whistle. Strange. Okay, now I'm hearing people. I don't know if there's hikers right now. Normally where I park, if there is somebody hiking, you would see other cars there, but there's none. It doesn't matter. Let's keep going. I swear I keep hearing like people down there, but I don't see anybody.
Soon after, a sharp, unnatural whistle cuts through the silence. The sound feels intentional, out of place, and difficult to explain. Moments later, he begins hearing what sounds like people somewhere in the distance, even though there are no cars or signs of other hikers nearby. The area appears empty, yet the sounds continue. Despite checking the surroundings, he finds nobody. The isolation becomes more noticeable as the strange noises continue without any visible source. Then a sudden scream echoes through the forest, clearly human, calling for help before fading into the distance.
We're gonna continue on this crazy freaking Okay, that was a person. That was 100% a person. They just screamed. Hello? I also just realized my microphone settings were off, so I might sound a little wonky, but sorry guys. I don't see anyone. Who the hell keeps calling out? That was weird, because it sounds literally like it was back where we just came from. Okay. Strange. Let's get up there and see if we see anything, I guess.
The sound is unmistakable, yet nobody can be seen. He attempts to locate the source, but the forest gives nothing back. The environment begins feeling deceptive, as if something is creating sounds to lure him deeper inside. Looking for answers, he turns on a spirit box. The static produces fragmented responses, including a reference to a long presence and a direct warning. The information suggests a connection to the past, matching the area's history.
I think we will keep moving towards our usual... The f was that? The heck? Like I legit felt it from behind kinda. I mean, I didn't have my back on it, I don't think. Let's run a spirit box for a second. I'm going to use a device that you can communicate with me through. You can pick words if you want to. You know, I do believe that people who've passed on tend to go back to, you know, certain places that they used to go when they were alive. Like, I was recently talking about this with a nurse at the hospital that my grandmother's staying at, and he basically said the same thing. Like, one of the hospitals that he worked at.
I've been here 300 years.
300 years, so that would be 2000, so 1700s? That does make sense, actually. This is a pioneer area. Can you tell us how you died? I wouldn't mind maybe speaking to Kirk.
Get out.
Why did it say it like that?
As he continues moving forward, the atmosphere changes again, becoming heavier and more hostile. A sudden pressure forms around his head, growing stronger the deeper he moves. The sensation feels physical, like something is actively pressing against him. At the same time, a loud impact is heard directly behind him, close enough to suggest something unseen is following his movements. The tension escalates rapidly, making it difficult to continue farther. The feeling becomes overwhelming, as if an invisible barrier is stopping him from going any deeper.
I don't know why the vibe switches from heavy and anxious back that way. I don't even know how to describe it. Like dangerous. Like it feels, like I kid you not, it feels like there's almost like a barrier. Like something is stopping me or trying to stop me. Thought I heard something. But yeah, something feels like it's trying to stop me from going further. Is there something here? That was back at the camp. Sounded like. I feel weird over here too. Kind of what I'm feeling right now is like a weird pressure. Like pressure on my head, specifically my right ear right now. I don't know what that is. It almost feels like as if something's squeezing on my skull. Every time I get to this point, I literally just want to turn back. Like that spot's already scary enough. What's doing that? Alright, screw it, let's go back. Oh! What was that? Something just like stomped right behind me. That was creepy. Creepy and loud. The fuck?
Every step forward increases the discomfort, both physically and mentally. Eventually, he decides to turn back, choosing to leave the area rather than continue farther into the unknown. Back at camp, the experience does not completely end. Shapes seem to move along the tree line, and distant sounds continue through the night. Even while resting, the feeling of being watched remains.
What was that noise? I definitely heard something.
By 4 a.m., Angelo decides to leave the area, entirely putting distance between himself and whatever may have been present in Happy Valley. Sometimes, the mind can fill in the gaps when you are alone in a place like this, especially when sounds and pressure build over time. But when the reactions feel physical and consistent, it leads to one simple thought. Was this only fear taking over? Or was something actually trying to stop him from going farther? On July 13, 2019, the YouTube channel William Smith uploaded a video documenting a tense and deeply unsettling encounter with wildlife during a solo hike through the hills. The channel normally features casual outdoor footage and personal adventures, but this particular upload fell into a completely different category. At the beginning of the video, William was hiking along a narrow trail carved into a hillside, with steep drops on one side and open wilderness stretching across the landscape around him. The trail was completely deserted. No other hikers, no noise, nothing. That changed quickly when he noticed movement farther up ahead. A large figure was standing directly in the middle of the path in front of him. As he moved closer, it became obvious what he was seeing: a grizzly bear specifically identified as a glacier grizzly. The realization was immediate, and so was the fear. For a period of time, neither of them moved. The bear remained in place, watching him. William stayed still, then slowly started backing away, keeping his movements calm and controlled, doing nothing that could be interpreted as threatening.
No, hey! Go on.
The bear did not move toward him. Then, without warning, it stepped behind the terrain and disappeared from sight. That disappearance did not bring any comfort.
No! No!
If anything, it made the situation worse. Not being able to see the bear meant not knowing where it was anymore. William never lowered his guard for even a second. He bent down, picked up 2 rocks, and carried them while walking, tapping them together in a steady rhythm to project sound ahead of him and let the bear know he was still nearby.
He's gonna bum rush my ass from up there. Wouldn't that be awesome?
He scanned both sides of the hillside with every step, watching for any movement in the brush or along the ridgeline. He made it through safely. But the fear did not stay behind with the bear. It followed him the entire way back down the trail. It is the kind of encounter that makes you realize how little control you truly have out there. Have you ever been in a situation in the wilderness where you felt like you were the one being watched? This footage comes from Paraquest UK, a British paranormal investigation channel known for its calm and respectful approach to ghost hunting, along with live communication sessions using equipment such as EMF meters, K, 2 devices, pendulums, and trigger objects. The recording was captured on July 22, 2021, inside Pluckley Woods, a location often referred to as the Screaming Woods in the United Kingdom.
The other side?
No.
I've got the camera running everything, come on. Just think of the numbers.
I've survived for the last 48 hours, not getting injured. I want to keep it that way when I get out.
Adam,
Yes.
I think your
That's it.
screen's just cracked some more.
Don't look at it.
Is it? Well, have you aimed it at
I
Ricky?
can't tell by looking at it, but I definitely heard a crunch.
What are you saying?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Adam.
Well, I might sit on the log.
We'll be your friends. Angry.
Can you still see the other bits?
Well, if I pan around to there, yeah.
I'll move along. Oh, I'm going to get a wet bum. This is not a good idea.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, give me those rocks.
Marvellous. I've got no signal at all.
Your meter's going.
My meter. Excellent.
See. Okay, and I'd just like to remind any spirits, energies or entities that are here, we are out of the greatest respect for you. Just like to do a bit of communication, that's all. We are respectful, we mean you no harm, we are friendly. My name's Adam. If you like to communicate, if you like to show some communications, I'll have some devices sitting on this log. All they would do is light up and one of them will make a sound. Nothing will hurt.
Adam and the rest of the Paraquest UK team carefully moved through the woods, navigating thick mud and uneven terrain that made progress slow. They eventually chose a fallen log as their base point, placed their equipment down, and arranged everything into position. Adam addressed whatever might be present, making it clear that the group had entered respectfully and had no intention of causing disruption. The woods responded only with their normal sounds, and during those early moments nothing unusual stood out.
Detection to tell us, give us a sign, give us some sort of indication that you'd want to come and talk to us. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to switch my K2 on, see if we can get any, can you see that?
Entity present.
Okay. Are there any entities that would like to step forward tonight? I'm going to give you the opportunity to do so now.
Continue.
Okay, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do so now, to come and talk with us. As I just said, we are friendly, we are respectful, even Ricky. And all we'd like to do is just to have a bit of communication, that's all we're asking. Alright, and as I said, my name is Adam. Okay, I also have a little device on the log here. This will help for any communication. Okay, if you want to give me a name or some description for this little box. Pardon?
Killer.
Killer. Have you got your pendulum tonight, Tina?
I do.
Wonderful, okay.
Died. Can you give me a name?
Okay, if there's any spirits here that would like to step forward and give us any sort of signs, I've got 3 of these little balls, and they light up when you touch them. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
They will light up when you touch them. Okay, so we're going to give you the opportunity tonight to come and give us some indications that you're willing to communicate with us.
Is that Dean? Is your name Dean?
The K2 meters and trigger objects were switched on, and Adam openly invited anything in the area to step forward and interact. The devices responded occasionally, but nothing developed into a sustained exchange.
It sounded like essence. Oh, essence.
Sounds like really?
Would anyone like to step forward? Is that your torch? Anyone that would like to step forward and come and give us an indication.
What date is it?
What date is it? Mine said can.
What is it today? 15.
Any entities that are present also have a little device on this log that you can talk through. Actually, no, you won't, because that's the SLS. I don't want to get anything. Let's try that. Okay, so I'd just like to remind you there is a device right in front of me. This will not hurt you in any way, shape or form. It's not harmful. It's just an aid of communication. Giving you any opportunity that you like to come forward and talk to us.
Heaven.
Would you like to go to heaven?
I thought heaven was a place on earth.
Responses continued arriving in fragments. Some of the signals were vague enough that they could have suggested several different meanings, and the team was unable to determine anything clearly. As the session continued, the equipment started registering something that appeared agitated.
If you're angry at one of us for being here, can you give us a sign?
Why are you angry?
Always.
Well, what do you mean by that?
What did it say, Adam?
Always.
Always angry.
Jungle, this is like jungle.
Adam focused on it, asking what was causing the reaction and who it was directed toward. The atmosphere noticeably changed, feeling heavier than at any earlier point in the investigation. He acknowledged how inconsistent the session had been, the earlier vague and scattered signals eventually shifting into stronger, more emotionally charged responses later in the night. The team remained composed throughout the experience, and eventually wrapped up without reaching any definitive conclusions, although the feeling they carried out of the woods suggested the location had not fully settled. If you had been in those woods that night, would you have stayed until you received a clear answer? The next video comes from the Flex Tapes, a UK-based channel centered around immersive overnight explorations in woodland environments. The date was May 7th, 2022, and the location was Cannock Chase Woods in the United Kingdom. The group arrived after dark and moved deeper into the woods to set up camp along a trail. From the moment they entered the area, the environment worked against them, trees packed tightly together, visibility nearly non-existent, and anything beyond the reach of the firelight completely consumed by darkness. As they settled in, the conversation shifted toward what the location was known for: the sightings, the unexplained activity, and the stories connected to it. Nothing had happened yet, but the weight of expectation was already hanging over the campsite.
Got the corner of my eye. Oh, REM pod.
That's movement. movement sensors going off.
What direction?
We don't know.
Oh.
Right, so the REM pod is going off over there now. It is blinking. Did it go? It'll come back on.
Keeps going off.
It went off for a good solid period of time then.
Then something drew their attention. A brief flash of light appeared near the tree line, unclear and gone almost instantly, but noticeable enough that it could not simply be ignored.
Seems to be happening here, so we might as well conduct something here straight away. Ideally, I didn't want to do it here straight away, but it seems like whatever's here is here, yeah.
Right, I'm going to quickly change my battery.
And we have come to make contact. My name is Dan, and I mean you no harm at all. Just like to communicate with yourself, whoever you are, the black-eyed children, the werewolf, or whatever else lingers in this forest.
Then the situation escalated. From the darkness came a growl, loud, close, and physical in a way none of the earlier activity had been. There was nothing visible, but there was no mistaking what they heard. It was the first moment of the night that carried any real weight. Everything changed after that.
Torch out, so we've got more.
I'm half tempted to put everything in the car.
What, and just drive around and look for it? Well, what if, this is just a suggestion, we put everything away so it's in the car and it's safe, and we go for a walk.
When you're fighting ghosts and people, yeah, go. But when you're trying to fight an animal with instincts,
yes.
But when it's something physical, yeah. I'm thinking of pumas.
I'm thinking we should pack up all the gear, make ourselves easily escapable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're not panicking if something happens. So we're already ready for it. Come back out, and then we can run back to the car if we need to.
I gotta apologise, guys. This has got me really on edge. I wasn't expecting this. Was not expecting. This is the way that we're doing the amazing. I did not expect this.
Right, I'm slowly going to put my gear away.
Whatever it was making like a loud purr, like a loud noise, like a loud rumble, like a warning noise.
Right.
The question stopped being what it was and became whether they were actually safe. They considered the possibilities wildlife, something moving through the brush, something they had no way of seeing, and none of the answers felt reassuring. The uncertainty itself had become the threat. Equipment was packed up quickly, valuables were secured, and the campsite no longer felt like somewhere they should remain.
So guys, footage from here might be a bit crap. I just want to look at my trainers, but still. Come on, James, quick.
Oh, watch my six, man, watch my six.
I am. Yeah, safety of the Q7, I think. What the f*** I don't know.
Honestly.
That's unexplainable. On so many levels.
The investigation was over. They returned to the car closer to the road, closer to an exit, and spent the rest of the night there instead. Nothing else happened afterward. But the tension never completely disappeared. The most unsettling part was not the growl itself, it was not knowing what caused it. Some sounds in the dark have simple explanations. This one did not seem to. What would you have done, stayed in the tent or gone back to the car?
That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.